Hello everyone, I'm here today with Viktor. He's
Hello,
back
guys.
at the channel, you don't see him too much. And we're gonna take over the 650 in our showroom, which has always been Balázs's tank, so...
Absolutely.
It's a new experience for us, but this is the only tank that's long enough to keep the 1.5 meter distance between each other, so it's COVID safe, sort of.
If you're an avid follower of the channel, you know that we had a previous layout here with the Scalar. That layout was kind of like a minimalistic layout. We focused more on the fish. This was kind of a special for the showroom because we mainly focus on the plants. After 8 months, now it's time to do again some aquascaping here, and we are focusing more to the hardscape, the plants. And since we have a large tank here, the fish will be also important at the end.
Yes, exactly. And also the biggest takeaway from the previous scape is that to have a proper Lilaopsis carpet, you need about 8 months. It was just turning perfect, and then we took it apart.
We removed it. So hopefully we can save some part of it for a future layout.
We have some ideas what we're gonna do, but it's gonna be 50% improvisation, so yeah. Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping.
This is the first part of the video, so now we are focusing only to the hardscape.
We have some Fuji stones and we have some ironwood prepared. We have a lot of soil and sand. We're not actually sure what we're gonna end up using, but yeah, that's why we collected everything around us, so it's gonna be easier to build from this.
So I think let's just start with this.
Yeah, and it's important, both videos are sponsored by Donella Plants. They're gonna provide us with all the plants needed.
You will see the plants in the second.
They said we can have 100 plants. I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough.
We probably need to bump it up.
Yeah.
For those of you who are new to the channel and haven't seen the previous videos with this aquarium, it's an 180 centimeter wide aquarium. 60 is the deep, 60 is the height. We have ADA Solar on top of that. We have 3 lights. For each 60 centimeter, we are using 1 light. We are using lights for 30 centimeter from the water surface.
Of course, they are the Solar RGB, not the regular old solars. These are the LEDs. For filtration, we have the Classic XL Eheim.
It's a very nice aquarium, especially for aquascaping, because we have the size backwards to build something really nice. So the same technique is under the aquarium what we've started with. I think we only just replaced the light from HQI to the LED a couple years ago, but the filters, the CO2, everything is the same.
The tank itself, with all the scratches.
Tank itself. Well, we polished at some point, but it's again, it's scratched. So anyway, let's do this.
Actually, we've been waiting for quite a long time now to build this tank because we wanted more hardscape to choose from, and we've been expecting a huge ironwood shipment, but we've only received medium sizes, which, well, for this tank, it's not perfect. So we've actually made a sketch just to make sure. We had 3 big pieces, which we're gonna use, and we tried to build around them with these smaller ones.
We have a lot of soil here. We will use the ADA Amazonia. La Plata is the selected sand, or?
We have La Plata and Colorado prepared as well, so we can still choose.
Okay, so we can decide which one works best for that, and we will put in the black lava stone or the Fuji stone.
Yeah, it's both to support the wood pieces and also to basically cover the holes underneath the wood.
We will use a lot of ironwood, which probably would tint the water. So it's not just tinting the water, because that would be easy to solve with some extra Purigen, but probably will release a lot of organic waste. So the first few weeks will be probably challenging, and we will put even more filtration materials than we use in average in most of the tanks to solve it. But you guys will follow it, so you will know how the aquarium goes in the first few weeks. We have a lot of dust here, but based on our experience, working with dry sand is much more easier than working with wet and pre-washed sand. Of course, at the end, we probably will have a little bit of clouding on the water, It's nothing serious to worry about. But if you're not working with sand, which is coming from or is made for special aquatic use, or you're using a different kind of sand, probably some washing and rinsing is recommended. Just like with the sands, lava stone is something which we are not really pre-wash. You can use a little bit of showering on that, but not need more cleaning. What we try to do here is even emphasize more the deepness of the aquarium by just rotating and tilting the decoration backwards. So we will lead the eyes to the center of the tank. We will use the black lava stone for this decoration. The big advantage of this stone is that it's not changing the water parameters.
How nice do we want to be with the maintenance crew?
Yeah,
on one hand, I want to build it up to the front as much as we can to give depth, but on the other hand, it's going to be difficult to clean.
Probably the video about this aquarium will be out in a few weeks. We are still on time with IAPLC. The contest deadline is the end of May, usually. So we still have a little bit of time for the contest to prepare shooting. If you're not finished with your aquarium, it's time to start to the early photographic session, because usually it's not works for the first time. Even in this COVID period, maybe traveling is limited, but the contest will be organized the same way as it was last year. So just don't miss it. It's a good fun. We have like 5 or 6 black lava stones on the side that's giving the base. The structure of the lava stone is really good for that, so it's kind of like sticking together because of the rigid surface.
And it's also going to be really good for planting, because we won't have soil in these areas, but you can put a lot of plants on the lava stones.
Textures can be very different with these woods. The general appearance is similar, but some of the wood has a smooth structure, some others have like this rigid part. The good aquascape is that when you show the nice textures in the aquarium and don't hide it with plants. So we probably will limit the plant use. I try to show as much part of the hardscape as we can. If you have an ironwood aquascape, it will tint the water. You can use the Purigen to remove completely this tint. Even if you use a lot of Purigen in the first 2 or 3 weeks with the first few water changes, if you have some aquariums next to each other to compare, you will see that this has brownish look.
We just have to make sure that Balázs doesn't drink. It's going to look like tea, basically.
We are using the 4 times the recommended dosage compared to the factory numbers. So for every 100 liter, we use 100 milliliter Purigen. And sometimes, especially in the cases like this, we even increase that. Purigen in that amount is removing some nitrates from your water. So we need to compensate for that probably, and we need to add some nitrate from liquid fertilizers. The wood is prepared for aquatic use, but it's released a lot of organic waste. What it means, it will put much more pressure to your filter. So if you're not filtering the water enough, you probably will have a lot of algae. In cases like we have here, we usually, as you guys know, we have larger filters under each of the aquariums. We probably will face with similar issues, but on a shorter time. So we need more maintenance in the first few weeks because of that. The layout itself looks a little bit symmetrical. We just had a discussion about that, but we'll break that symmetry with the different kind of shapes and forms. If we don't find the pieces, what we're looking for the sides, it doesn't matter. We still can hide it with plants, but it's important to have some kind of concept on the sides as well. The colors are different in some cases. This is much more reddish, but the color at the end will be similar or same after the first few weeks. By just adding more pieces to the structure, will give more levels to the deepness of the tank. It looks much better if you have multiple levels, like we've seen on Josh's presentation and what we are using in the past as well. The main goal is to have a picture for us, what we really like, and if we like it, we can glue it, we can drill it. Now we already have a stable base for the decoration. We have enough stones to hold it in position. What we try to avoid to have parallel lines in the aquarium, too much parallel lines. We can add in even more details, but this part is ready for gluing basically. If you plan to build some decent layout like this one, when you really fill up the aquarium with the hardscape, you need a lot of stones and food decoration. For a 650-liter aquarium, probably 100 and 200 kilograms of stones, at least approximately the same amount of food is needed to look good. So we use different type of stone decoration to further improve the space and the 3D effect on the layout. We're still unsure that we will use regular soil in the tank. We'll work completely fine with the sand itself, but active soils are really useful for the water chemistry. So it stabilizes your water, easier to dose the CO2, there are not much more fluctuation on the pH level. And if we are not using it, we either can mix up with top water or soft water, or use GH and KH booster to have a buffering capacity for the water. That's what we usually have in a saltwater aquariums when we have just sand and we don't have enough active soils.
Actually, I don't really like working with wood. It's a challenge for me. It's really different working with ironwood or redwood than working with any kind of stone. For me, it's much more difficult to make it look natural. That's why I hate wood.
We will not fill up the corners with the aquarium soil. We probably will just glue some plants here. Still, if we want to plant something, we have many options for that. So we can trick and use some kind of a pots here in the back and plant different kind of plants which grows out of the water. But soil is not necessary. So even if we have a lot of soil here, we probably will not use any of them.
I'm not even gonna open them. It's just no point. It just looks too good.
So this scape would look natural, even if you just only do some moss here and some smaller plants in the foreground. For the sand, it's fine. The goal is here not to have such a dense carpet like what we had here in the previous layout with the Brazilians, but to have plants here and there in some places. And for that, this is just perfect.
Yeah, I'm claiming this up front. If you want to use any moss, you're gonna tie them on. I'm not doing that. I hate moss.
Okay. The whole layout looks symmetrical a bit, but it's not decreasing the value of the scape. And the left side is a bit heavier than the right side currently because we have so many things here. But I think we can play with the plants to
that's gonna be readjusted
to make it unique.
We're basically done with the main layout, let's put it that way. It took us about 2 hours to put this together. Obviously it's gonna need some more details, but before starting working on that, we're gonna start tying the wood pieces together with zip ties, like you see here, which makes it much easier to glue them in the correct shape, the correct way we want them to connect. It's better to glue everything at this stage, but we're only gonna glue what we really need to. The scape itself is quite stable.
Yeah, and we still can use some whitening stones in the first few weeks just to keep everything down and stable. You can remove the stones after 1 or 2 weeks. It's fine.
Actually, these ones we're gonna use for planting.
Yeah.
So every stone you see in now, it's gonna stay in the scape. Even that quite weird one in the middle of that batch, but covered with plants, that's gonna fit perfectly.
We've stepped back like 10 steps from the aquarium to see how the whole thing fit into the showroom. Does it have enough weight?
That's a mistake that even we did it. We start building, we look at the close-up details, and then if you don't take a few steps back, you're gonna miss some points that should be adjusted. Yeah, always when you feel satisfied from close-up, take a few steps back and check again. Well, we have to finish for now. The Bahrain GP is starting soon, so we have to get home in time. It's basically done with the base of the hardscape. Now we have to figure out the planting and yeah, come back to it in 1-2 weeks.
We'll use the zip tie, we'll glue the woods, we'll put in a white vinyl background, but we still have the time to refine some things when we are planting.
Help us with the plant choice.
Also the fish selection.
Yeah, Denala Plants are gonna sponsor it, so
yeah, so we'll have some beautiful plants to work with. Till then, don't forget to aquascape.
Yeah, goodbye.
Next week on Green Aqua, Tommy likes them shallow tanks with sexy wood hanging out of them and a good view of the top. Is this too much? Tune in to find out.
I've actually never done this. I've never had such a tank.